Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. I've been having kind of a fun night last night. Yeah, and this morning. Actually, I just took my sugar and it's 65. It's like, and I just ate something in one of my Nutty Buddy bars. All night it's been like that. So, yeah, it's one of those sorts of fun nights where I've been dealing with a lot of low sugars. And then on top of it, I didn't go to sleep right away, even though I went to bed at kind of the usual time or whatever. For I don't want to say unfortunately, it was actually a good thing. I have a little Miss Silly Girl here laying on my lap right now, so that's one reason why I'm laying like this. I can't quite move, but I went downstairs, used the restroom before getting ready for bed, and when I came back upstairs, the one cat that's here, his name is Tiny Tiger, and we just call him Tiny. Oop, there she goes. Hey, I can sit up. Um, anyway, he was there at the door, um, just sitting there, and the way he was, I was like, oh, I bet she's on the other side of the door, because I usually keep the door closed, so to, help with it, because, she's very skittish and everything. So, but, that, sure enough, anyway, I opened up the door, sure enough, there she was on the other side of the door. Um, and I was like, okay, let them have some interaction, actually one-on-one and everything. And then next thing I know, the other cat that lives in the house, his name is Romeo. We call him Romes. He's a tuxedo cat. That's why his name is Romeo. Okay, get it? Um, those of you who have been following for a while, it's just like the old, excuse me, one of the other cats that I used to live with. He was also a tuxedo cat named. Actually, I was the one who wound up naming him. His name is Ritz. I used to call him Ritz Bits. So anyway, yeah, um, so basically, yeah, like I said, same situation. But anyway, he also came in last night, and he's been very skittish with me. He's a lot like Possum is, with being very shy and so forth. But that kind of helped bring Romeo out a little bit. The only thing is that he was being a bit aggressive, which I didn't expect. So maybe, with the similarities in personalities or whatever, might have caused some antagonism, which it made a lot of sense. I kind of wondered that if it might wind up happening, and it did, but at the same point, might have helped bring him out of his shell with me a little bit too. Didn't mean that at the expense of my baby or whatever, but in the process, who knows? It might help with the situation with both of them, with their shynesses. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the cats were in here for at least an hour, but maybe a couple hours, something like that. So I didn't want to fall asleep, and something wind up happening or whatever. So I didn't get to sleep until around 1 o'clock this morning, something like that. And yeah, when the aggression started, I was like, okay, I left it be, let them, try and hash it out or whatever. But then he left, and it was like, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and close the door. And um, I believe in letting them sort things out themselves. Keep an eye on it, make sure that nothing happens, but let them sort it out themselves too. So, but yeah. Like I said, I didn't get to sleep until about 1. Excuse me. And then I had low sugar. I don't remember what time, so I ate one of my Nutty Buddy bars. And then, actually, that's right, I didn't even hear, I don't even know if my alarm even went off or not, to be perfectly honest, because sometimes if it does go off and I'm in a deep sound sleep like that, I can have a tendency to ignore it. So I don't even know if it went off or not. But I woke myself up and it was a little low. Like I think it was like 55, something like that. That's kind of low. So I ate one of those, went back to sleep, and then I woke up. I think my alarm went off again. Let me know. Oh, sugar low. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, I just ate one of my Nutty Buddy bars. Um, it was kind of borderline, whatever. Sometimes it might straighten itself out with activity. I went downstairs, used the bathroom, came back upstairs, and yeah, it went off again. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and eat it. But then it's been a good, oh, it's only 9 o'clock. I thought it was later. Anyway, I ate it. It's been probably a good 30 minutes, something like that. Took it again. It's still only 65. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, I should shut up about that. You want to say hi? Here, let me get my hand on my phone a little bit better. There she is. Miss America. Yeah. Actually, she's Miss Universe. She's that beautiful. She did that beautiful. She's Miss Universe. Yeah. There she is. Looking all pretty. Yeah. Such a beautiful girl. Yeah, that's you. She's like, oh, okay. So anyway, good news. A bunch of good news. Went to do the criminal background check over there. Went through all of that, or basically background check, and it's like, okay. So she said it's there's no rhyme or reason about it, but it can take them only a couple hours. Sometimes it can take them up to 2 weeks. It's like, oh, great. So, yeah, it just kind of really depends on how fast they move and everything. But I definitely, if everything comes back and so forth, I definitely have a job, and I'll be basically working the closing shift. So, awesome. And then while I was cooking dinner last night, Rick and I, after everything was said and done there at Home Depot, no scratching. I know, it itches, but let me scratch it, okay? So you're not tearing yourself up. All right, there, that better? Oh. So anyway, she's like, are you gonna? All right, go ahead. She's like, Mommy, I get it much better. Yeah, and you tear yourself up. I know. Angie, Rick and I were telling her what was happening. She's like there's a vet right across the street, and they're supposed to be really good. She's like, make an appointment. I'm like, I don't have any money right now. She's like, don't worry about it. I went off her otherwise. I'm like, okay. But no, she's just been tearing herself up. It's like, and she's really been digging at that one ear, her right ear. And it's like, I'm a little concerned. And she was a little warm last night. And then at the same time, she was a little warm last night, and a little bit of drainage in her eye again, or both of her eyes. So I'm like, yeah, maybe we should do that. Drainage is gone. I did have the windows, or the one window anyway, open for a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna see about getting her an appointment across the street there. She said a lot of times they'll do it same day even, so, and Angie's off today, so we'll see. Kind of depends on how busy they are. A little unnerving out there. It was like, okay, you call and you may be able to get an appointment or you may not. It's like, yeah, kind of that situation, even with the vets, unfortunately, not just with us people, but also with these guys. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, went over there and we took care of the quote quote paperwork, basically the computer work to get things rolling with the background check. And then Rick and I stopped off at a couple places to see about cooking dinner. I'm like, well, we need something to cook. What do you want me to cook or whatever? And he's been wanting to try my cheesesteak sandwiches. And it's like, okay, let's do that. We went to one grocery store. It's called Cub. Really nice. Kind of reminds me of Vons a little bit. Before Vons was bought by Albertsons anyway. But, just that the cleanliness and the layout and so forth. In some ways, it reminded me of them. But anyway, not saying that Vons is bad now by any means. It just the atmosphere, kind of reminded me of them before Albertsons bought them. So anyway, trying to correct myself there. But yeah, they had most of what we needed. They did have the cheesesteaks or the sandwich meat or whatever, but I wasn't willing to let it pay that price. I'm like, no. And they didn't have the buns that I was looking for anyway. Or I should say they did, but I wasn't willing to pay that price. It's like 89 cents per. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. And they really didn't have anything else either. So I'm like, let's just go to Walmart. I need to get some yogurt anyway. And they didn't have it there. So he's just like, okay. He's not a big one for grocery shopping. And he absolutely despises Walmart. I'm just like, hey, But yeah, they had the rest of what we needed there and so forth. So got that. And anyway, while I was cooking, chopping things up, because like my cheesesteak sandwiches, I do red and green pepper and onion, and then I also got some mushrooms to cut up and put in there as well. They were really good for the most part. Unfortunately, I forgot to find out if they had any Lawry's seasoning salt, and the ones that I wound up buying, they came with packages of seasoning. Not quite enough of what I'm used to, but they were still good. But anyway, so we did. I was in the process. I know I'm still kind of loopy with the low sugar and not getting much sleep. But anyway, while chopping things up, my phone rang, and usually I keep my phone on silent or whatever, but I was keeping it on just in case Home Depot called. And this was actually the phone call. I went ahead and answered it, and because of the area code was from around here, and it was actually Lowe's calling me, offering me the other job. I just need to go and put in the application for the electrical position full time, and he told me the pay rate and so forth. And he was just like, do you accept it? And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm just, well, what I was thinking last night is, well, maybe, just in case something falls through with Home Depot, or maybe, I could work them until something happens with Home Depot or something like that. But with talking with them last night, it's like, they brought up some good points, that it still could wind up being, a couple weeks before I could even get started with Lowe's or whatever. So that could wind up being a negative situation also. But I'm just, with everything that I have been through and so forth, I'm trying to play the safe route and also trying to get some money going at the same time. And I woke up and I'm just like, okay, I just need to think on this. And I woke up this morning and I'm just like, no, I should decline the offer. because the one that I really want is Home Depot anyway. It's better benefits, it's more benefits, and it's higher pay. And I'm also going to be working a schedule. It's a set schedule, and it's a schedule that I really wanted anyway. Mornings and I don't really necessarily get along very well. I need that buffer time to, get myself moving and so forth. And, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and decline their offer. And just stick with, stick with the one with Home Depot. And they're right up the road. Unfortunately, Lowe's is a bit of a distance. I think it's like 7-8 miles or something like that. I don't even know if one of the motorized scooters would even make it that far, especially if it's inclement weather or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and decline that offer and say thank you. I appreciate it. When I was there was just something about the atmosphere I really didn't care for. I just felt like I just wanted to run, when I was in there, the whole time. Whereas with Home Depot, I feel, and even with talking with him last night when I was accepting the offer, I just had that uneasy feeling, But I was willing to do it just to, get something going or what have you. But I think that my best bet is just going to be to stick with Home Depot and go that route. So it's just a more relaxed atmosphere and everything. People are outgoing, friendly, talkative, and so forth, which of course can have positives and negatives. Concern that you can have with that, of course, is people, being gossipers or whatever. But, which I don't want to be involved in. But, I definitely have that position. I know my hesitation still is to, play it out, but it's like, I already know that I'm going to pass the background check, so, yeah. But I'm more concerned with, just in case, some sort of wires got crossed or something like that, or maybe, one of my hairs have been left behind from a murder scene. Oh boy, I know. Mommy just needs to relax. That's what it boils down to, and that's what this lesson is about. And it ties back into what I've been talking about with the videos from the last 2 days too. Trust. Learning to trust. Trust in spirit, trust in the process, trust in fate, the Wheel of Fortune, so on and so forth. Everything's going to be okay. And that's part of the lesson. Everything is going to be okay. And I get the feeling that as soon as I'm slowly accepting that. Hi. I am slowly accepting that. And when I do, the ball is going to be rolling really good. So, and I really want, I want that relaxed lifestyle. I've had the chaos in my life. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for it, and so forth. And what I mean by that is, how do I don't want the sort of chaos that I've been dealing with my whole life. That drama, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that anymore. That's been a constant in my life, my whole life. And yeah, some of it, I took it on myself. I brought it on myself. With some of the activities I was involved in. Because I'm somebody who is always wanting to help people, you know, especially if they might be in danger, especially if they might, I put myself in those situations, you know, like the domestic violence situation that happened just before I left out there. I didn't have to be involved in that. I put myself in there. But how can I, as a conscientious person, walk away from a situation like that when nobody else around is able to help or what have you, and I know I can. And it did help the situation. And it did help bring her around, you know, with me being involved. I mean, the person who was holding her, if you haven't seen the video, basically the one situation basically the situation that wound up happening, it was domestic violence. She was beaten, basically pistol whipped, and she wound up passing out. And the one person who's holding her is screaming at screaming on the top of her lungs. And the other people who are there, you know, the person who's screaming is saying she's not breathing, and the other people who are there, who they don't know CPR either. Well, I know CPR, okay? How can you walk away from a situation like that? Who can at least be calming to help, you know. Fortunately, she was breathing. She was just breathing very, very shallow, and she was passed out. She just needed somebody with calming energy to help bring her back around, is what it boiled down to. And also to talk to the paramedics, or, you know, dispatch, to let the paramedics know where she's at, you know, and to guide them in, and so on and so forth. And to also help calm the other person down. You know, how can somebody, a conscientious person, walk away from a situation like that? You can't. I realize it's a dangerous situation. The boyfriend could show up at any moment, even though the situation happened not there, but someplace else. He could still show up at any moment. He knows where she lives and so forth. I met him and everything. So, yeah, it could have wound up being a volatile situation at any moment. But how can I walk away from that? I can't. Not in good conscience. So I'm always going to be that sort of person who's going to be involved in these sort of situations, whether I like it or not, because it's part of my nature. It's part of my personality to be helping people all the time. And yeah, it has caused a lot of drama in my life. And I get that. And that's what I mean by I put myself in those situations. But then there's certain situations where the drama is happening to me, okay? Like family or what have you, because of of how they are, and then they're bringing it to me. And I'm just like, done with it. You know, I've also been somebody who feels that I'm trying to be respectful, and I will admit that I haven't done a very good job at setting my boundaries in the past and being like, hey, look, no, okay, you need to go deal with it, or you need to take your gossip or whatever someplace else. I don't care about it. If you're not going to deal with it, deal with it. But I'm also somebody who, when somebody's talking to me, that I should be respectful and listen and let them play it out or whatever. And that's where I need to work on things, is setting that boundary. Be like, hey, look, take your negativities elsewhere. Knowing when that boundary should go up. And I'll admit that that's something I have to work on. But I don't want I want more of my life to be, focused around positive. Excuse me. That's what I'm trying to get at. I want my life, I want stability in my life. I want there to be I want to be able to go down the path that I've been wanting to go down for a very long time. I want the stable job. I want the stable, well-paying job that also has pay increases, that has opportunities for growth and so forth, where I can grow. I want a position where I can also be creative, I'm somebody who's a very visual person, somebody who is a very tactile person, who likes to not only see things but also be able to touch it and so forth. I want, and like I said, I want to be able to grow, okay? I want something where I can have benefits. I want to be able to afford those benefits, afford the different insurances, be able to afford insurance for my babies, be able to take care of them. I want to be able to buy a house. I'm not looking for anything spectacular or what have you. Yeah, I would love to be able to get my hands on a beautiful Victorian and remodel it. Something with a lot of land with it. I would love that, okay? But I would also be very, very satisfied with just a nice, simple little house with some land with it, something like this even, with some land, a yard where I can have a garden, where I can plant beautiful flowers. Oh, and I was so happy when I was over there. I seen they started getting their fruit trees in, their saplings, and I'm like, oh, some of the plum trees had the flowers on them, the blossoms. I'm like, oh, I'm so looking forward to this. I seen that, and I'm like, yeah. So, and they also had apple trees, and I was just like, oh, I'm so looking forward to this. So, yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to, be able to have my garden, and then, multi-bedrooms, so I can have an office, maybe I can do some freelance work, more as a creative outlet, also have another, or maybe have a combination office sewing room. I can do my sewing projects, and have a spare bedroom for maybe company that comes out, comes over, basically guest room or what have you. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I've been wanting my whole life. And if I had, and I would very much like to be able to, I would very much like to be able to share that with somebody. I really, really would. I don't want to be alone. I really don't. I want, whether it's somebody who's here all the time, or maybe they travel or whatever, that's perfectly fine. I get that, but I want my home base. Even if we travel together or whatever, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I want a home base. Something stable that's a home base, something where, a relationship where we have commonalities, shared beliefs, shared values, and so forth, instead of headbutting and everything. There's going to be that. It's understandable. You can't agree on everything. But I want what they have. I want what my friends have. That's what I want. Obviously, I'm probably not going to be having kids of myself. That's been the least of my concerns. If he has kids, fine. I can be the crazy Aunt Valerie. Doesn't bother me. It really doesn't, you know. And as long as the mother and I get along fine or what have you, okay, fine. Or if we don't, you know, that's fine too, you know. As long as there's an understanding or whatever. It's like, hey, look, you know, I'm not trying to replace you or anything. You know, I just want to be your child or your children's friend. That's it. You know, I'm not looking to replace you. You know, that sort of thing. But that's what I want. You know. Um, I never got a chance to experience a real family. And that would be nice. And being here, I have in many ways. And I love being able to banter with Rick. I would love to have that sort of situation where there's that understanding, you know, where we banter with each other or what have you. That sort of bantering, or always picking on each other and so forth. No hard feelings. You know, we just, you know, basically kind of be a way of flirting, you know? We're not flirting. I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. It's just banter, you know, just picking on each other, you know? Makes you feel good. hmm But yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. You know, if he has a job where you know, he travels a lot or what have you, that's fine, you know? That's what phones are for, right? hmm Or if I can go with, great, you know? At least I'd have somebody who on the plane who can help keep me distracted from what's going on. That's the way I look at it. As long as we're seated in the right place. No back of the plane, in other words. Oh gosh, I did that one time. Never again. But that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for in life. So, there. I put it out there, universe. I put it out there. So, whether I decide to go after, you know, graphic design positions or not, I don't know. I want to be able to play life by ear for a change instead of planning things out so darn much. I've done that, and it hasn't gotten me anywhere. So, yeah, I just want to take it easy for a while, at least, and then make decisions. Take it slow. Take things slow, and then decide. Because I've done the rat race, and it got me nowhere. And tired. Just take it easy, take it slow for a change. Work on my yoga, go for my walks, do my gardening, my sewing, all that. Yeah. So anywho, I should go so I can eat, get her an appointment, and all that sort of good stuff. So anyway, I'll talk at you later. All right. I love you guys. I love you.